Chris Rock is opening up about his experience with therapy. In an interview with Gayle King on CBS Sunday Morning, the comedian revealed how much time he's spending talking to a therapist each week. Well, it may surprise you. Take a listen.
I do about 7 hours a week.
7 hours a week? Like
Yes,
every day you're doing something?
Yes.
But they say about therapy, it only works if you're prepared to tell the truth.
You have to tell the truth.
And Chris said he'd previously gone to therapy, but never really jumped into it until the pandemic hit, and used his time in quarantine to reflect on his past. A lot of his hurt stems from his childhood, where he says he was bullied growing up in Brooklyn. The 55-year-old says the 7 hours of weekly therapy helps, and he's finally in a happy and optimistic place in his life. Wow. Jeff, you're shaking your head. What do you make of it?
Good for him. Really good for him. There's such a stigma attached to, going to therapy or talking to people about your problems. Everyone thinks immediately like you have a problem, and that's not true. We really need to focus on mental health. We didn't talk about that at the top of the show, but we're talking about businesses being shut down, the American dream, 30 years of building this business being taken away from you because of a shutdown. You're going to have to see somebody and talk to somebody about that, because there's going to be some mental disconnection going on with that. So good for Chris Rock, especially right now.
Yeah, I think it's so important for people to be proactive. I mentioned a few times on the show that I started going to therapy, and a big part of it was I knew that I was having a breakdown, that I didn't want to have to try to pick up the pieces. I wanted to try to get ahead of it, which is exactly the reason why I've called my therapist to make sure that I can get in. It's just so important because people have lost all connection. We need to be able to talk to someone.
Yeah, if you hold it in, they say, or at least some of the therapists that I've worked with have always said that women will act then inward and men will act outward. So they will become aggressive. Women acting inward is shoving everything in, and then that will come through things like self-destructive behavior, self-medication. Tori, you've always been very open about therapy, about your battle with depression. What do you make of the 7 hours? Because people on social are focusing on, is that too much? Is there a line where you can cross almost focusing on something too often? I'm not saying I believe that, but what would you say?
Yeah, I totally understand what you're saying. First off, a lot of people in depression, it's a disease that makes you not want to cure itself because you don't want to get out of bed. If you're with a therapist right now and you're not jiving right now with that therapist, please find the energy to find another one because it can save your life. Second off, for Chris Rock, seems like he's going through some intense therapy. Either it's cognitive behavioral therapy or they're going way back and doing some other type of therapy. But 7 hours to me, I couldn't do. I needed a break for my brain to rewire. But sometimes when you're in a very deep moment and you're reaching down to the background real deep, you need that support. And if he can afford it and he's doing it, bravo. I'm glad a person of color is also speaking about it because there's a stigma in that culture. So bravo to Chris Rock.
Yeah,
really, bravo.
Good for him. And to any of our viewers right now that are suffering, please, there's a number of resources out there. A lot of people equate therapy with money, and there are resources that will help you seek a therapy and treatment for free. I strongly advocate. I partake in both, so you'll be okay. Reach out, please. Coming up on DBL, a touching